Yeah, empty bottles of red wine laying on the floor from last night. We got a little drunk, yeah. Now I'm a little numb. Spending hours by your bedside, talking till it's dark out somehow. Can get you off my.
All right, all right, all right. Let's get this party started. Okay, so you guys, I'm gonna give y'all a second to hop on this feed. I am back with Snack Cackle Talk, and I am your host, Lacey. I am your host, Lacey, and today is Freestyle Thursday. Okay, today is Freestyle Thursday, and y'all know on Freestyle Thursdays, we talk about any and everything. Okay, we talk about any and everything. So if y'all got any type of questions or any topics in general that y'all want to talk about, today is that day to ask me questions or whatever it may be, or bring about a topic you're interested in knowing about. Maybe you want me to speak on it. Hey, I will. I have absolutely no problem. No shame in my game. I would definitely do it. Um, let's see. But I do have a small topic. So I live in Texas. For those of y'all that do not know, I live here in Texas, and I come across the um a couple of changes that Texas is going to be implementing in the schools this year. So today's topic that I was going to speak on is what's in store for the new school year. Um, so basically, if wherever y'all live at, if y'all got some, y'all know with all these new changes with the education that they done did with the new laws, for the education administration and everything. So if y'all know wherever y'all live at, whatever changes were implemented in the school systems and you want to share it, let us know, because and then maybe we can just kind of be connected as far as like as a community, okay, to know what are all the changes that schools are going through that's going to affect the students this year in different states. Like, let me know what state y'all are from, and what changes they're going to be implementing for your kids. Okay, so what I learned here in Texas, one of the changes that they're going to be implementing is they're starting a cell phone ban. Now, when I was in school, we had cell phones, but cell phones were fairly new. They were fairly new to us when I was in school. So cell phones, yes, it can and was a distraction, especially when they came out. And everybody that did not have a phone was basically envious of the ones that did and was trying their hardest to get one, steal one, whatever it might have been, or burn one. They was coming up with burner phones and everything like that. So once your child gained access to a phone, especially while they're at school, because mostly it wasn't allowed at home, so they're sneaking around and they're bringing it to school. Yes, I can admit it was a distraction. It was. And in today's time, though, just imagine it has been mega sized. That distraction has been mega sized because, yes, kids are using the phones to publicly humiliate other students with bullying, publicly humiliate teachers, um, just overall, just really not paying attention at school. So I do get it. I do. But there's always that but that jumps in, that in my opinion, I am not a professional, okay? But in my opinion, cell phones do serve a positive thing to have at the school, especially in the cases of emergencies. Um, with everything going on with people showing up at these schools, harming these kids. Yes, cell phones can be beneficial, especially when administration is not able to get out to authorities, but a student can, or students can show what's going on and what actually happened, that can kind of give insight to help cops figure out why things took place, why it took shape. Sometimes those things are caught on camera, and it is beneficial to solving a case, even if the perpetrator that committed the crime has been captured or has been unalived or anything of the sort. At least whatever was caught on a student's phone can kind of give some insight. So they're taking it out of the schools to where the kids are not allowed to have the phones. So I don't know if it's like, okay, I know I saw a movie, and I don't know if you guys, I'm quite sure a lot of you saw the Netflix series All of Us Are Dead. I love that series, okay? The Koreans are winning when it comes to zombies, okay? But that is a zombie apocalypse movie where a school is becomes ground zero for the spread of the zombie apocalypse, okay? So, but when these kids go to class, the teachers, they have their cell phone box, and at the beginning of the class, they take up everybody's cell phones and they stick it in this box. It's a check-in point. It's a checkpoint for all the kids to bring their phones up front, and the teacher locks it away. But just as I was saying, an emergency happened, chaos happened, and the kids did not have access to the phones to get help. So that's all I think about when I heard or read that the schools were taking that away from kids. I get it though. I do get it. I do understand it as a parent. I would not want my child, like if I get like my daughter, she was my oldest daughter was the first one to have a phone. Okay, so teaching her responsibility of having her phone was a must. Now, I never heard of her being disrespectful with her phone while she was at school, but she also knows we don't play that. So, but having her phone was a must, being that I was busy, my husband was busy, she was busy, and having her have her phone while she's at school and she needs something for band, or and that happened a lot, needing something for band just before they hit the road and everything like that. If she's not able to access her phone and can't get to me and has to go to the office, and the office is slow about allowing kids to reach out to parents in an emergency state of need, because it's happening in an abundance, and stuff like that, then they can kind of slow up on allowing kids to use the phones and stuff. And they done took pay phones away from kids, so I'm kind of, I don't have to worry about that because all of my kids are grown. But I'm one of those people that were that your child is my child. I'd still look after other people's kids. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have to know you, but if I see something not right, not kosher, not like it should be, I act on it, speak on it. So, and I expect the same thing when it comes to any of my kids as they was growing. So with the cell phone thing, I times are getting, well, they're getting worse with school shootings and stuff. So if they're gonna take that and implement that as a law, what are what is the school system doing to make sure these kids are safe and protected? Not just on the outside, but also on the inside. Because a lot of bullying, like here in Texas, like I just recently saw at the end of this previous school term that just ended, a young lady was being bullied. Okay. And that, from what I was hearing, yes, the video was forwarded to me, but by the time I learned of the situation and the video was forwarded to me, I kept trying to click into the video, and someone had deleted it. Okay. But They had done taken this young lady from the school, a high school, and taken her to a public park, not too far from my home, from what it looked like, and they were bullying her. In my opinion, for some young kids, for some teenagers to do something like that, they had a foot out the door of being some serious criminals. Okay, to be that comfortable and film and publicly humiliate another person and do it with ease. And but at the same time, because they filmed it, it gives the police insight on what took shape, what happened, where it happened, about the time of the day that it happened, who did it happen to, you know? Because if something was to happen to this young lady, yes, she made it home safely, thank goodness. But had she not, she would have been a Jane Doe until they figured it out, you know? So that's what that's my point, is taking the cell phones away. Granted, yeah, they can take them to the front of the class, but and leave at each class have their phones, you know, and it's at the teacher's discretion to, at the door, not once they're in the class, at the door, do a cell phone checkpoint before you walk in the class. You drop your phone in the cell phone holder, and if you don't do that, you're not entering into this classroom, because once we go into the classroom, there are no disruptions. So that's what I would do if it was me, if I was a teacher. Um, but you all let me know, like, what kind of changes are they doing at the schools where y'all live at? Because I'm quite sure that there will be a lot of changes. I know they're decreasing the administration, and I mean, there are a lot of overpaid people. I get that, but they're not righting a wrong by doing the cuts, but because the money that they're saving, the Department of Education, is going into our government's pockets instead, is what it looks like. And it's been, instead of it just being staying with the Department of Education and increasing the teachers' pay, increasing security, buying new books. You know, teachers should not have to buy their own supplies for their classroom. So the money that you take from the cuts that you make, I'm not understanding why it's not just being reallocated back into the school system to make that situation better. My opinion. And get some better educated teachers up in there, because some of these teachers, they don't have the proper experience to be with these kids, and a lot of things is happening that should not be happening. Um, if you are just now hopping on this feed, today is Freestyle Thursday, and I am speaking on what's in store for the new school year. And here in Texas, one of the things that's changing for the new school year is that they are implementing cell phone bans for students, that they cannot have them at school. So I wonder, if I know when my kids went to school and they got their phones taken up, parents had to pay a fine to get the phones back. So I wonder if that's still going to be in place, and if it's still going to be a low cost, or if the cost is going to increase. I'm curious now. I mean, I don't have to worry about that, but a lot of people, they do have to worry about that. Their kids go to school with, like, they're banning watches, tablets, uh anything that's not a school device. They're banning it. Cell phones, they're banning it all. So I'm just curious in how this is going to affect the kids, and with all that happening, let's see if it increases their education. uh One other thing that I also noticed that they're doing, and let me see if I can get it to pull up here. Okay, where was it? Hmm. Okay, so right here, I know it's okay, so I know they passed here in Texas. I know they had passed some type of thing where that they don't want DEI implemented in the schools. So it's like, are you trying to create a division between the kids? Because kids don't know hate, they are taught hate. So, in order for our country to thrive, we have to come together. And I don't know if you guys noticed my shirt, but my shirt has it's the implication is that my shirt has different races, okay? And it's like a power to the people fist. And it says we rise together. That is so true. Separated, yes, we all we all can say something negative about the opposite race, but we can say a whole lot more about our own races as well. But when stuff happens and an outside country invades on this country, are we going to be so divided that we get taken over by another country because we're so focused on um, division? You know, these young kids, they are the future of what's going to be left behind. And if we don't teach them our way of how we were raised in helping one another, in looking out for each other, and being one and considerate and joining and inclusiveness and everything like that, if we don't teach that to them and we allow a broken system to teach our kids, they are not going to have a future. Okay, they are not going to have one. um and it's bothering me. I have 3 grandbabies, and no, I don't want no more, not in this world. So I hope my kids see this. I don't want any more grandbabies in this world, because this world is screwed up. It really is. And it's going to be hard for families to raise their kids in the world that we're in today. I don't know how hard it was way back in the day, because I wasn't born. I wasn't thought of. Okay. But I'm quite sure it was very challenging for my grandmother to raise 13 kids, her mother to raise 15. And at the same time, both ladies are having babies together because they were young wives. They were married off um, while they were teens. I think they were both married probably about the age of 14. So we got to teach our culture. We got to teach our kids so that they can grow up with a bright future. Let's see. What else changes did Texas have? Because I'm not understanding why they wouldn't want the kids to learn about unity. I mean, it's already bad enough that the education that was taught to us was still a tainted education, but we still learned. Okay, we still learned. These kids don't know how to read or write in cursive. They're changing up how they do math, and half the people that's teaching the math, you don't know if it's right or not. You just have to do it the way that the teacher told you to do it, and it might be wrong. Because I know I was trying to work a problem, and I was good at math. And this girl said, "Oh no, that's wrong. You did it wrong." Huh? Which way is your teacher teaching you versus how I was taught? Totally different. Because each way is gonna give you a sum. So how do you know which one is right? You know, and we as grandparents, like especially myself, I'm out of school as far as like, yeah, I'm in college, but in my college is like I'm well into a graduate degree, but I still have to go back through elementary again. My grandbaby goes to school this year. And no, my daughter is not going to parent her by herself because my daughter is young. I have no problem stepping in to help my daughter co-parent her kids to make sure that she knows right from wrong for my granddaughter so that they have the best possible chance at a future, you know. I would say this to everybody that's on TikTok. If you see me looking up, I have a camera. I'm sorry. I'm not crazy. But I have a camera that's right above this camera right here, um, that I'm talking to. Okay. Because y'all are on a separate stream than what everybody else is on. Um, let's see. What else are they changing here in Texas? So we already know that their plan is to lay off 1,400 of the staff. So, and for some reason they okay with it. It's like, okay, we still got things in place and we're gonna do everything like how we've always done it, and operate things the way we've always operated things, just with less crew. Okay, that is fine and dandy, and it sounds good while you're saying it, and I'm glad y'all are in a kind of accepting stance of things. But while you're in that stance, I want to make sure that they understand, like, hey, y'all do understand that y'all are going to be taking on not just one role now, y'all are going to be taking on three or more roles apiece. And hopefully everybody can handle it so that our kids don't get left behind on the education standpoint of things. Okay, because we saw what happened when they laid off all the people from the airports. People lost lives because the ones there, whether they knew how to do the job, that's not the question. It was their ability to be able to handle a bigger task of the job that they were not equipped to do before, because they didn't have to do it before, and people lost their lives, and everybody is at fault except for the people that did the firing. So look at what happened um, with the Texas floods, the lack of weather information to prepare people. You gave them wrong information, and over 100 people have died and went missing. And now you got this huge search party, and the person that laid off all these people, our government, is pointing the finger at the ones that gave the false information because they wasn't properly equipped to handle the load. So at the end of the day, like I said in a previous recording, I'm sorry, it's not going to cut it. Trying to figure out who to blame is not going to help find these people or bring back the family members and the children that were lost, that lost their lives in this flood that we had due to lack of information. So it's like, are we getting to a point to where that we actually need to figure out a way to tell our own weather? That way, you just rely on yourself instead of relying on the people that's supposed to do it for you. You know. Um, let's see what else. They got some academic standards and evaluation. So several states, I'm sure Texas probably one, require retaining third graders who fail reading. Um, that's nothing new. That's nothing new to retain kids in third grade for failing reading, though. That's not the only thing that they need to learn. That shouldn't be the holding point to keep a child back just because they failed to read. It's like, has the teacher done one-on-one? Did the teacher acknowledge that the child was having problems reading? Does the child have a learning disorder like dyslexia or anything of the sort that they might need some special attention that can allow them to grasp the education that's been put in front of them so that they can learn? There are a lot of things that are not being acknowledged because teachers have now gained a impatient tolerance towards teaching. And sad to say, a lot of it is because of how the school system does not support their teachers, that their frustrations is rolled over to the kids. And so half of the teachers are just there for a paycheck. They're not actually there to teach the kids anymore. I know that they don't have the same teachers that I had, and they don't have the same teachers that like two of my kids. I have four kids, two boys, two girls. My girls, they Head Start teacher was wonderful, and I am a hands-on parent. I went to all of me and my husband. We went to all of the trips. We participated in all of the events. We were very active parents, okay, in our kids' upbringing, in their education. And but my boys, one of my youngest son, he had a good start off with Head Start. Well, no, he didn't. I had to take him out of the Head Start program and then put him back in at kindergarten. So that's a correction. Um, but my boys, so they struggled with Head Start. And Head Start, to try to take that program, which is so detrimental to a child's beginning stages of their education, parents are not allowed. I'm not gonna say allowed. I don't know why that came out, but parents are. All parents cannot afford to send their kids to daycare. So sending them to pre-K to Head Start helps these parents get their kids started, get them that jump start in learning how to follow rules, learning how to do things, learning how to communicate with other kids, communicate with teachers, communicate with people outside of family, learning how to act in public. All those things take shape. Learn how to just get their cognitive skills intact. Head Start teaches a lot of things. It's not just, I hate the fact that when Head Start was in danger of being taken, um, they use minority Hispanic teachers only to get up there and speak. And their main concern was, it sounded like they was using Head Start as a daycare. And that's not what Head Start is. Head Start offers a whole lot more than that, than just someone um, uh, watching over your child. They're not keeping your child, they're watching over your child in the education setting. It's not daycare. Um, but when your child misses out on that, and they're not in Head Start, they're not in pre-K, they're not in daycare settings or anything of the sort, then they have to jump into kindergarten without any pre-setting of education. They struggle throughout the entirety of their education term. They really, really do. So to hold a child back for not knowing how to read, all that is one-on-one teaching, tutoring. I know when my kids was in school, they started a program where some of the volunteer teachers would actually take the time out to go to your home to do one-on-one teachings with your child, with you present, stuff like that. So that was offered to one of my sons. Now, my youngest son, I withheld him. I withheld him in second grade. That was my choice because he wasn't cognitive ready to go to the third grade. And I did not want him to go to the third grade and then fail because he was not cognitive ready. So once he repeated second grade, I withdrew him from the school system altogether from that point moving forward until he got ready to enter in, until he got like 11 or 12. Then I put him back into the school system. And when I did that, it was mainly so that he can gain the skill that he needed to get acquainted with other kids, so that he wouldn't have that awkwardness around other kids. So and to learn how to gain friendships and stuff like that. But homeschooling him, that was a challenge because as a parent, you have to be held accountable for your child's education. There are a lot of free programs out there, great programs that I know they got that K through 12. We went through Connections Academy, and they were great. They sent out the books that my son needed. They sent out the books that I needed to teach him from. They sent out a lot of things like packages that would teach that had money in there to teach him money, teach him time, um, a couple of things for science. So it was like there was no excuse for why my son could not be homeschooled and taught properly. So for a lot of people that are thinking about homeschooling your kids, that's something that you should consider, because after I heard it over my news station going traveling towards Dallas, and then I heard it on the news station in Dallas, and then I saw it on a commercial on TV, I was like, okay, you telling me something. You ain't got to tell me again. And I made the call, and I did not turn back. And I'm glad that I did, because I bought I bought a what was that, a chalkboard for my son. That way I can teach him, and then write some problems or whatever up on the board, and then he go to the board and do the work, show me that he understood what I taught him. We even did it on the go. He needed to rest. His attention span was short. So once I realized I lost his attention, then okay, go rest. And then when you come back, just know we still finna do some homework. It doesn't matter if it's 9 o'clock at night. We're gonna get it done because I let you rest. And he understood the assignment. And it helped him that when I put him back into the school system, he was an honor student ever since, and gained a college scholarship. So, and he completed what my son did. He went to school for firefighting, and he completed that. So I did not fail. My son did what he wanted to do. Yes, when you're at the school system, if you choose to keep your kids in school, you just have to be on it. Your kids cannot succeed without you, especially with all the changes that the school system, the state, the government, they're all making. It sounds like it's not going to be equipped to actually benefit your child. So we have to advocate for our kids. We have to advocate for them. We have to look out for our kids to help them get the education that they need to survive in this world. Um, if you're just now hopping on this feed, this is Snack Cackle Talk. This is Freestyle Thursday. I am Lacey. I am on here 3 days a week. Okay. Today is Freestyle Thursday, where anything goes, where I pretty much talk about anything. Yeah, granted, today I came on here with a topic in mind, but I can talk about absolutely anything if anyone has anything that they just want to say in general. Um, I will be back on here this Saturday for Relationship Saturday. And yes, I do have a topic for you guys. So I would love for you guys that are tuned in to me today. I would love for you guys to come back on here for Relationship Saturday. Saturday, we don't talk about just anything unless it's a relationship topic. Yes, Saturdays are strictly for relationship topics. That has always been my starting point, was Saturdays and relationship topics. And then I expanded from there and started doing hot topics and freestyle topics. Because it was just too much going on, and I just had a ton of things to say about it and was very opinionated. I won't lie. And so I decided to incorporate it into my show. So there go my 3 days: Hot Topic Tuesdays, Freestyle Thursdays, and Relationship Saturdays. And if you haven't done so already, and you took the time out to go ahead and just, I don't care if it was just 3 seconds at least, to hop on this feed, then please give me the thumbs up if you like the content. If you don't, I'll take a thumbs down. But if you give me a thumbs down, give me a reason for why you didn't like it. And maybe I might consider some changes, and maybe I might not, depending upon what it is. But other than that, though, I would like for y'all to subscribe if y'all would like to come back. And what else? Oh, I'm only one member shy on my Snack Cackle Talk page, okay? So that I can actually do my live from my Snap Cackle Talk page instead of my regular page on Facebook, okay? Other than that, you guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and hop off this feed. I got a little homework to do. I got my grandbabies at the house. I gotta go take a cat nap for work. So I'm busy. I'm busy today. And I will see you guys next time, okay? I appreciate all the love, all the support. I can never say thank you enough because I do appreciate everybody that hops on my feed to hear what I have to say, because you don't have to do it, but I appreciate it anyway. Thank you. See you guys next time.
Bye, bye, bye. Maybe we should take it slow. I don't feel too comfortable jumping into something new right now.